It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. It is St. Patrick's Day, Tuesday, March 17th. Top of the morning to ya. I'm not wearing green, but I got green gum next to me, so I'll just hold it for the opening. How are you guys? Pinch a friend today. I have such a good show for you guys today. I have a special guest. That's going to come on and talk to me a little bit, talk to us about what's the nightmare with the upcoming Bachelorette season and Taylor Frankie Paul, because I have some hot takes on this drama. We're also going to talk about the other mom talk girls that are falling apart. We're going to talk about the Coldplay CEO HR girl. Remember her? She's come out and started talking to Oprah. We have a Meghan Markle update that's drama. We've got a lot to get into, you guys. Today is going to be a really good show. So make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that like right now. You know, yesterday, everyone's like, I'm hitting that like. At the end of the live show, I had 170 likes. What is this? Give me a like, my friends. Like it up. All right, let's get into it. So much to talk about. It's your daily dose of Donna. Trent says, hit that like I just did. Be like Trent. Hit the like. So what's your favorite St. Patrick's Day memory? Mine is, I was a big St. Patrick's Day girly in college. And then after I graduated college, I still was, because, you know, when you're in your 20s, that's like a thing. And St. Patrick's Day, when I was dating Lance. So I want to say this is probably 2009, I think. Sorry, something in my eye. Oh my God, it's so itchy. We went to a bar in Hollywood and day drank all day long. So I was 28 years old, 27 years old. I don't even know. And we drank green beer, which is so gross, by the way. Like, what is the deal with green beer? What's up with that? So we drank green beer all day long at this really fun Irish pub that then turned into a karaoke bar at night. And we didn't have kids. We didn't have anywhere to go. We were taking it wasn't an Uber, but a cab at the time. And then I ended up singing a song. You're gonna fly away. Bet you're going my way. I love it when you're grooving. You know that song? On a karaoke stage. That was a fun memory. Okay, what was your fun St. Patrick's Day memory? I think St. Patrick's Day is all about eating really good Irish food and drinking, right? Like that's what they do on St. Patrick's Day. I will not be doing that today because I am going to be celebrating the fact that it's Tuesday and I'll be working all day. I've got a busy work day. Okay, we've got to talk, y'all. Well, number one, personal news. I was so excited. I got to meet my nephew last night. Baby. A little baby nephew, baby Noah, came and visited from Arizona. And we got to be, and I asked him if he knows where Nancy Guthrie is. I said, Noah, do you have any ideas? He didn't. But I will tell you the Nancy Guthrie investigation at this point feels like it's over. And why is that? Because even JLR Investigates has left Tucson. You know it's bad when we got Brian Enton that's left. And now JLR Investigates is left. Like, there's no one else on the scene, you guys. It's over. That is the sign of the time. It's over. And at this point, I don't think we'll ever know what happened to Nancy Guthrie. The sheriff can go, you know, F himself. I think he completely ruined that, completely botched or covered up the case. We don't know. But I would be very surprised if one day all of a sudden we hear that there's an arrest. Really, truly surprised. I don't think it's ever going to happen. You guys let me know if you hear anything different. Apparently, the family has all taken polygraph tests, but no one's actually confirmed it out loud. It's just a source has said. And then yesterday, a source said that they have a very, very, very close person in the FBI or connected to the case. They do not have one lead. Just 50 days, no leads. Make it make sense. Now, a lot of you guys asked me if I covered the Corey Richins trial or if I talked about the Corey Richins trial. And honestly, I didn't. But I know that so many of my followers and so many of my dosers were obsessed with the Corey Richins trial. So, in case you weren't following it, Corey Richins was found guilty yesterday of fatally poisoning her husband for his $4 million estate after only 3 hours of deliberation, which is rough. Did you guys follow the case? Were you watching, court talk or whatever about it? It's a pretty tough situation. The goal here was to run away with her handyman lover, and this is in Utah. Um, So the jury handed down the guilty verdict after only 3 hours of deliberations after a 3-week trial, where the prosecutors were painting Corey, Kouri, Richins, as an egotistical social climber who slipped a fatal dose of fentanyl into her husband Eric's Moscow Mule cocktail on March 4th, 2022. And then after that happened, she's 35 now and a mom of 3. She then wrote a children's book about her kids' grief after the murder, and it's just diabolical. It's just diabolical to murder your husband and then write a book about grief. She appeared defeated and hung her head low as the guilty verdicts were read on aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, insurance fraud, and forgery. And then she was found guilty of trying to poison him also a month before with a sandwich, a fentanyl-laced sandwich that made him break out in hives and black out. Isn't that crazy? So she was doing a home flipping business and it was $4.5 million in debt when she tried to do this to her husband Eric's estate and start a new life with her lover, Robert Josh Grossman. This is what the prosecutor told jurors during closing arguments. And at the time, he said basically that she was an incompetent businesswoman who carefully curated the facade of a privileged, affluent, successful business owner. The way forward for the conniving wannabe socialite was that Eric had to die. She then asked Grossman, her secret lover, if he'd ever killed anyone just days after she fatally slipped fentanyl into her hubby's cocktail. She asked him in March 2022 as they discussed Eric's sudden death for the first time, the handyman testified earlier in the trial. After he died, she wrote and promoted a kid's book called Are You With Me? A year after the poisoning plot to help their sons process their loss. 3 boys. Can you believe that? Just disgusting, right? Throughout the prosecution's arguments, she derisively smirked and made faces. She furrowed her eyebrows. She grinned and occasionally leaned over and spoke with her defense team. Her lawyer made a bid for a mistrial. But the motion was shot down, and now she faces up to 25 years behind bars. Honestly, she should be facing more. Like, what a mess. I wonder if, because you hear about these cases, right, where women slip things into husbands' drinks and whatever. I wonder if men ever think to themselves, should I be nervous to have that cocktail that my wife made me? Is that something that men actually go through sometimes? I'm very curious if this is an actual real fear of men sometimes if they're in like weird marriages. But I doubt he even had any idea it was coming. Oh, that's just such an awful, awful experience. Anyway, glad that she was found guilty. And now I'm looking for a new trial. I mean, I didn't get into that one really, but now I would like a new trial. So if you guys have a good one, pop it over. Let me know in the comments about any good, you know, any good trials to talk about. Okay. Let's get into, I'm trying to think where I want to start. Let's start talking with the Coldplay about the Coldplay CEO, the Coldplay and the HR and the CEO affair. So this is quite interesting. Oprah, who I didn't even know was doing this, has basically a show where she talks to she talks to people in front of a live audience. I mean, it's kind of like her former show. And it's a very long interview. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to show you the entirety of it. But here's a little bit of the YouTube. It's held in front of a live studio audience. I think Oprah probably realized that this is kind of the one thing that she really excels at, is doing these live interviews and talking to people in front of an audience. Oh my gosh, this woman in the back right here, I don't know if you see her in the middle, the blonde. She thinks whatever was said was so funny. She's laughing so hard. But Oprah is talking to Kristen Cabot. Those of you guys that don't remember, obviously, it was the biggest story of 2025, the Coldplay affair. And she then goes on to explain to Oprah about their relationship and about kind of how they first got together. So at first, it's bringing up their marital status. So Kristen and her husband at the time were not together. And neither was the CEO whom she had the affair with. He and his wife were not actually together at that time. Let's watch a little bit.
We developed feelings for each other during that time.
Okay, because
sure.
were you attracted to each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why, like, when people would say, oh, they didn't look like friends in the video, like that was the culmination point of feelings that had developed over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, I would say.
Okay, so when we spoke over Zoom, you said that was the first time you all had done anything publicly. That's the first time you'd actually shared any kind of
physical touch.
Physical touch.
Yeah. Yeah. So what
at the
happened
Coldplay concert, the first time it touched you?
Yes. I'll explain. I'm here to share what really happened. So
okay.
I know. There's a lot of context there. So I had friends that had gotten tickets to the show. They asked if I wanted to join. They had 2 extra seats. I never go out. So it's kind of a joke amongst my friends, let alone on a weeknight. I'm usually with my kids or I'm working. And I had just gone through a pretty tough period. And I was like, you know what? It's summer. It's a weeknight. Like, I'm going to go see, I love Coldplay. I'm going to go. Or I loved Coldplay. But that kind of got ruined for me. I'll be honest. Like, not the biggest fan anymore. But it was like such a no-brainer to invite Andy. We when I say we would talk like 10 times a day, that was even before this connection started. It's just,
she had a crush on him. It's obvious they had feelings for each other. They were having an emotional affair. There's no question before that concert.
The nature of our job and our working relationship. Plus we were, enjoying spending time together. And it just seemed like we've been.
I just want to be clear. What time had you spent together before?
Lunches at work. So
everything had been business up until the Coldplay concert.
Yes.
Whoa.
Absolutely. Though we'd had a lot of personal conversations and had acknowledged that we had feelings for each other.
Okay.
So she's saying that they basically never dated, hooked up, or anything before that Coldplay concert. I don't believe that. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I'm sure they had she said they had long lunches and stuff. I'm sure they had drinks together and kind of maybe touched each other a little bit. Like even just holding hands a little bit.
Okay.
Also, it was becoming apparent to me that we were putting ourselves in a situation where it was going to get risky from a work standpoint. I mean, I reported to him. It's my role is to actually be aware of those things happening at work and flagging when it might cause a problem.
So was there, I always say that there's a whisper and then there's a pebble and a brick and a brick. Was there a little whisper saying we should tell somebody or we should?
It was more than a whisper.
Okay,
it was like a real conversation where we sat down and said, we have to figure out a plan for this because these feelings are real. This wasn't like a fleeting thing. And
I don't believe that they didn't have any physical relationship. You're going to tell me that she reported to him, had a crush on him. He had a crush on her. And they decided at this point that they were going to go to HR and explain that they had feelings for each other before they even kissed. Please. Before they even kissed, they were going to go to HR and be like, what is this? Like Shakespeare times? We would like to enter a relationship. I don't believe that.
And we decided that we put kind of a plan together, but we wanted to propose to our board of directors that would change the reporting structure.
Didn't you tell me that you were thinking about going to the board, or you all were going to go to the board?
We ironically met probably 5 or 6 days before the concert. We had a lunch that was a lengthy lunch to talk about.
Yeah, it was over wine and sex.
This, and to make a plan. And
the plan was to go to the board.
To the board and let them know that we had developed feelings for one another and that we wanted to change.
And that it was consensual.
It was consensual, and which is an important point, 100%. And we wanted to propose a plan for what might work to make, take this reporting line out of the equation.
Meaning you reporting to him?
Meaning no longer reporting to him, but perhaps reporting to one of our investors, something like that.
All right, that makes sense.
Seemed like it made sense at the time.
Yeah.
It felt like the right thing to do. And
and then I got the invitation to Coldplay. That is not a normal thing to do. You're the CEO of a company and you're HR exec and you just kind of have a crush on each other. And then you decide to go to the board to talk about it and you're still technically married. You may be separated, but you're still technically married, but you're going to go to the board. Excuse me, we'd like to let you guys know we're developing feelings for each other. What should we do? Like, bull, they were effing. I don't believe that for a second. And the reason I don't believe it, and I won't let you go through the entire episode. You can do it on your own. But the reason that I don't believe it is that the way that they reacted at the concert. Let's see what this part says.
The employees of.
So why do you think that this went off like a bomb? Was it Chris Martin's comments in that moment that maybe you were having an affair? Mm-hmm. Was it the fact that Andy Byron ducked? It
was the fact he jumped out of frame and panicked.
You turned around. Was it that he was the CEO and you're the head of HR? What is it?
I've thought a lot about that. I think it was a whole combination. It was a combination of all of those things. I felt in the initial moments, I'm sure it was funny to people. I can appreciate that. I've certainly seen funny things online and forwarded them around and clicked on them. I just don't think people really stop and think about there's real humans behind this.
There's a life there.
And it is incredibly destructive.
Her life did absolutely blow up. She's saying down here that they had death threats. I'm actually kind of curious to hear her fallout and how she dealt, or I would say how she dealt with the fallout, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But I do think it's really interesting, in hindsight. I'm curious if they ever spoke again. She's basically trying to say that they never consummated the relationship. They never actually took the relationship to the next level. They just shared feelings and then went to a Coldplay concert and decided to spoon. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. It all feels a little weird. Interesting to go to Oprah. Oprah is kind of like, we'll always have that, top of the line. If you're going to go to anyone to have these like sit down interviews, it would be Oprah. I'm surprised Savannah Guthrie hasn't done an Oprah interview yet. I feel like at this point, but I think she's lying. I think he's lying. I think that, maybe they've been separated from their husband and wife, but they were not technically separated. It was clear that there was an affair going on. He hid, he jumped out of the way. He fell to the ground. She turned. They acted so guilty. And that is what I think is like why everyone is like, this is the craziest situation. So that's how I feel about the Oprah story. Okay. Let's talk really quickly about hers weight loss. And then I'm going to get into the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives with my conversation with Reality Steve, because I have a conversation that I want to show you. And we talked all about it. So just hold up for that. Just remember, there is so much noise around weight loss right now. Trends, opinions, medications. It's really hard to know what is actually right for you. Through hers, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to ongoing care, dosage, and medications adjustments as needed, lifestyle and nutrition tips, and access to 24/7 support. Turn to hers for comprehensive, personalized healthcare you can count on. From weight loss support to growing thicker hair, easing anxiety to navigating menopause symptoms, even accessing convenient lab testing, hers has you covered. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/dailydose to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/dailydose. Forhers.com/dailydose. Weight loss by hers is not available everywhere. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Okay. So I am curious from you guys. Elle is asking, where is my hers link? It's right below. It's forhers.com. Use code dailydose. or here it is, forhers.com/daily dose. Thank you so much. Okay. I am curious for you guys while we get into this Taylor Frankie Paul story, which is the wildest story and also not surprising at all. I would love to know from you guys who here is watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And then also answer, are you watching or are you invested in the Bachelor franchise just in general? And I'm curious to know if this is something that is, fascinating to you, because it really is for me. So Taylor Frankie Paul, this is my hot take. And then, or maybe I'll hold off with my hot take until after my conversation with Reality Steve. I think she is an awful choice for The Bachelorette. Awful. And the only reason Taylor Frankie Paul was picked for The Bachelorette is because people are desperate for ratings. And they're willing to put people that are not appropriately ready, not mentally in the right place, not emotionally stable, in a position for clicks and for views. We see this from top to bottom. We see this with influencers on TV shows now, but we see it all over X. We see what people platform on their podcast and who people interview just for clicks and for views. And Taylor Frankie Paul is a massive, massive, massive star. So I'm going to share with you guys, Reality Steve is a man who has a podcast on a daily basis. He's like the kind of go-to for Bachelor Nation content. He's really, really, really informed, and he has really great sources. There will be a little bit of a spoiler here towards the end of the interview, but I talk about it. I say spoiler alert. So if you guys want to watch the conversation and then just recognize that we will be talking about a little bit of a spoiler, but then I'm going to come back here. So don't leave. I'm still here because I want to talk to you guys about my real feelings on this whole thing and how I think ABC truly shit the bed on this one, even though they'll probably get a lot of views. But what a mess and what a bad, bad example to set. That's my honest feeling, but we'll get into that. Here is Reality Steve and I talking about all of this. Reality Steve, you are the first person that I thought of this morning when I was reading all the news articles about the crazy chaos around The Bachelorette. Taylor Frankie Paul, thank you for coming onto the show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, just wild, wild stuff, considering this all breaks 5 days before the show is set to premiere their season this Sunday night.
It's actually the second season in a row that the Bachelor franchise has been like tainted right? Because the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
With that dude. Yeah. And I don't even remember his name because I didn't watch an episode of it. Because
Mel
probably
Mel Owens.
You say? No one did?
No, Mel Owens is his name.
I thought you said no one did.
Yeah, well, that too.
But don't you think having a scandal right before your show premieres in this way, when you're trying to root for someone to find love, it's probably a bad thing, no? Or do you think this is a good thing for The Bachelorette?
Gosh, I can see both ends of it. Like, look, ABC is not going to pull her show. All the stuff that came out yesterday in regards to a possible DV situation happened at the end of February, 3 weeks ago. Her season filmed from October 26th to December 20th. So they will just stand by the fact that, hey, you're going to watch her journey of what happened at the end of last year. We'll deal with this on the finale night, which is taped live. So my guess is, while they don't like the negative publicity, you know what they say, any publicity is good publicity. And the fact that this breaks 5 days before her season starts, I've already seen her follower count has gone up on Instagram. Like, this is just attention for the show. And I don't even think most people, I shouldn't even say most, I can't even put a percentage on it. But the bottom line is most people are just going to be like, whoa, that's the woman I heard all the stories about today. I'm going to tune in on Sunday to see what this is all about, not knowing that the stuff you heard yesterday has nothing to do with her season that was filmed back at the end of last year. But I really do think it hurts the franchise because, for those that don't know, Taylor Frankie Paul is the 22nd Bachelorette. She is the first Bachelorette they have ever chosen that isn't from the franchise.
Wow.
It's not somebody that had appeared on a previous season of The Bachelor. They just decided, we're going to go the celebrity route. Clearly, this was stunt casting. Clearly, she's got 2.2 million followers on Instagram. She's got 6 million TikTok followers. We're just going to go after her audience. Like, those people, clearly she's got a fan base. And if 1/10 of those people that follow her on socials watch our show, we're going to do great. What they didn't do was, I guess, really understand what she was capable of. And everything that she ended up doing is playing out right now. And everything that she ended up, like, nobody is surprised by what has been playing out, because if you've watched any of the 4 seasons of Secret Lives, this woman's relationship with her baby daddy, Dakota Mortensen, is one hot mess. And it's been that way for 4 seasons.
I have to be honest, like, I come from casting. I come from that world. And, you know, when you put together a list for a show, you know, even if you're doing scripted, but when you put together a list, take all things into account. You take, of course, their popularity and influence. That's a huge part. And I do think that it was massive, because all those Secret Lives and Mormon Wives fans are now going to be watching. But you have to take it, especially a show like The Bachelorette, where they're trying to find love. You have to look at their past love history. And you have to say, like, is this a stable enough person to lead off a show? I have to be honest, I always thought it was a weird choice, even before this new cycle, because look, she's gotten arrested before fighting with him that one night when, you know, I can't remember how many years ago. They have had a very toxic, passionate, up and down, volatile relationship. It seems like a strange choice for a bachelorette.
Yeah, when she was announced as the Bachelorette, it was September 10th of last year, and filming didn't start for another 6 weeks. I said it at the time, as someone who had never seen an episode of Secret Lives. I said, look, I have no problem with them going the celebrity route and just going after somebody who's got a giant following. For the first time in literally 15 years, Bachelor or Bachelorette, they had stayed within the franchise. They just plucked somebody that was basically on the previous season. We had just watched their journey. They had just gotten dumped. Oh, we want to see that person find love. They decided after 15 years, probably because the franchise is dying a little bit and these other dating shows on Netflix are passing it up, let's go for shock value. Let's go for somebody who's got a built-in giant audience, because we know they're going to want to watch what she does. So I had no problem with them choosing to go the celebrity route. My issue is basically what you just said. Why choose somebody that has a checkered dating past, somebody that has 3 kids with 2 different men, somebody that can't leave Utah if she is going to have a stable relationship, meaning whoever she chooses is going to have to pack up their life and move to Utah and become a stepdad to 3 different kids. That's asking a lot of your with 2 exes. That's asking a lot of your contestants. And not to mention, she had a DV charge. And I've said this since September 10th, and I'll say it again. If it was the other way around and the Bachelor franchise said, our next Bachelor is John Smith, 34-year-old, great-looking CEO of a company, but on an easily Googleable search of John Smith, we find out that he threw a bar stool at his girlfriend 3 years ago and was arrested, there would be women across America lining up with pitchforks saying, why are you giving this guy a second chance? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Taylor Frankie Paul doesn't deserve to find love. Of course she does. She just shouldn't have been given this opportunity. And if you're going to go the celebrity route and just go with somebody that has a bunch of followers, just choose somebody that, I don't know, like an Alex Earl or somebody. There are plenty of other people they could have chosen in this role that has a ton of followers that just doesn't have all that quote unquote baggage with associated with them. Hell, you could have found one of the other Mormon wives that didn't have the baggage associated
Absolutely.
with that.
There's a few on there that may have been like a better situation. I was always confused by it, and I really thought, because, you know, Dancing with the Stars was happening right around the same time. So we had Whitney and Jen there. This clearly isn't Hulu ABC like partnership. And they were just really trying to place. And that's where we are kind of in the entertainment industry. How do we take someone from NBC and put them on Traders? And how do we take someone from Bravo and it's really incestuous now. It becomes like you can't find fresh talent. You have to find a star that someone already knows. It's kind of sad.
Well, and the other thing is, if anybody has watched season 4 of Secret Lives that came out last Thursday, in the very final episode, they basically leave you with a cliffhanger of all the women waiting at the airport to send Taylor off to be the Bachelorette, and she doesn't show up because she was basically having sex with Dakota the night before. So now all those people are like, oh my gosh, there's a reason that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was released 10 days before the Bachelorette season. It's like one long storyline.
When did they shoot? When did she leave to go to film the Bachelorette? What was the date?
About a week before the filming started, so around October 19th or so.
Okay, so mid-October, she's still, and look, if you watch the show, you didn't watch until this last season, but
I'm aware.
I've been watching. This girl has such a love that she can't get over Dakota.
It. Yeah,
they're like those really toxic twin flame type vibes, right?
Yeah.
They can't get enough. Then they're together, they fight. But she's clearly still has feelings for him in October. That's yesterday, basically.
Yeah.
Then she goes off and she's supposed to completely erase that out of her mind to meet all these new men. Now let's talk about what I think you released yesterday, his phone log. Is that what you showed me? Or you showed me personally? You posted it, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, on this night, that happened 3 weeks ago, right?
This phone log was from January, so about a month after filming ended, but it was right around the time. Are we talking spoilers on this? Do you need to give people a heads up in regards to her?
Spoiler alert, people. Spoiler alert. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'll do a tag. Okay, go.
So, spoiler alert. At the end of filming, Taylor did get engaged at the end of The Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
She got engaged to one of the guys. But immediately when she got back from filming, she was back in the toxic mess with Dakota. Now, about a month after filming ended, her last day of filming, she got engaged on like December 19th or 20th. About a month later in January, that guy flew out to Utah. They filmed the breakup. I don't know the wording that she used. I don't know if she's going to admit, hey, I'm not over Dakota. We have to end it. I don't know how it went, but
they filmed it for Bachelor, or they filmed it for
Bachelorette. I'm sure clips of it will be used on season 5, but they filmed it for Bachelorette because they're going to have to play that on the finale night, because on finale night, we're going to see them getting engaged, and then they go to the live studio audience. They'll bring them out on stage and say, hey, so what has happened since then? You know, they'll know that everybody's been talking about the breakup. But so they filmed it, and this phone log from Dakota was from either right before or right after, but it was January, around the time of the breakup. And look, I didn't want to get into the DV charges yesterday because I don't know anything. Everybody, if you read any of the stories yesterday, it's a he said, she said. She's saying 100%. He's the one that caused it. He's saying, no, it was her. So I'm not going to jump into any of that. The reason I showed the phone log was I'm trying to stick just to the whole Bachelorette spoiler angle of everything of, hey guys, when she was announced as the Bachelorette, as a guy who didn't watch Secret Lives, you were all telling me, Steve, this woman is not over Dakota. It's never going to work for her. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Yeah, she chose somebody. And I'm sure for those 8 weeks when she didn't have her phone and she couldn't deal with Dakota, in her mind, she was probably thinking, hey, I actually have fallen for somebody else.
Yeah, it was like an out of sight, out of mind situation. Yeah.
But the second she got back from filming, she was back into it with Dakota. So this was just to show people. And honestly, I don't hate Taylor at all. I feel bad for her now. This is a woman that clearly needs help. And I have a feeling that maybe this show, I know that she's the leader of the Mom Talk. I know she was the one that basically got this show started. And the show, if you ask anybody over 4 seasons who's the star of the show, they would say it is her. It is Taylor. But I'm guessing that this show could go the route of The Valley and what they did with Jax and just say, look, now it's gotten way too toxic. If you don't get help, we're not putting you back on the show until things are cleared up. I just can't imagine. We've already heard production is shut down. The other women don't want to film with her. That's fine, but don't make them come back after a week and she just jumps right back into everything. This woman needs intense therapy, not another camera in her face, and she doesn't need to be on TV immediately. And that's what I hope happens with her. She clearly, for whatever reason, I don't know enough about it, but as you said, clearly her and Dakota just have this butting heads relationship where they fight and they have sex, and they break up and then they fight and they have sex.
And he as a woman that's gone through like some pretty toxic, younger relationships in my 20s, he pushes her towards this kind of stress too. Like he's not helping the situation. He's not trying to calm it down in any way, because I think he enjoys making her jealous. He enjoys this kind of heightened passion. What's awful about this is the kid that they share, that apparently was in the room during this like choking situation that she's being accused of, which like you said, he said, she said, we don't know what's true yet. But in terms of her mental health to go on a show and it's kind of unfair for all those contestants on The Bachelorette that may have actually fallen for her, especially the person she was engaged to towards the end. So what about this TikTok she posted yesterday with this guy next to her?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything Taylor posts for the next 3 months until her finale airs is just promotion for the show. She's not with him. She's not with Dakota either. It's not like she got back with Dakota.
That would be insane.
She just can't clearly quit him. He's always going to be in her life. And that was the other thing. It just, you're asking so much of these contestants. But then again, I always say this as well. It's not like the contestants for The Bachelorette were walking down the street and were kidnapped and thrown into a van and thrown on the show. No. They knew for 6 weeks who The Bachelorette was going to be.
And they wanted it.
And they wanted it. So if they chose not to even watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that's on them. If they chose to ignore her past behavior with Dakota, that's on them. If their whole stance is, hey, everyone deserves second chances, I'm going to give her a chance. Well, this is what you get for giving her a second chance. Again, she deserves to find love. She just shouldn't have been given this opportunity to be the lead of a very popular dating show that is, quote unquote, the gold standard in dating shows because it's been on the air for 25 years, you know?
Exactly. It feels like a real step down for The Bachelorette in that sense. Do you have any inside information from producers or anyone that works in the, ABC Bachelorette kingdom? Are they freaking out, you think? Are they happy for this press? What do you think?
I don't have any inside sources when it comes to that stuff. I know TMZ posted a story today that said basically the production knew that this was a stunt casting. They knew what they were doing, but they kind of let her past dating life slide by because they didn't care about it enough. They were more caring about numbers. How many eyeballs are we going to get on our show? What are the ratings going to be? And this is definitely going to do it. And now that, according to the TMZ story, their inside source that has spoken with somebody close to production or whatever says they have egg on their face now. And yeah, they should. Don't let it be mistaken. As bad as this is for Taylor Frankie Paul, and she needs help, and ABC is just as complicit in this because they knew what they were getting into when they cast her as their lead. And if they chose to ignore her past dating, that's on them. Yeah. But they knew what they were getting into, and she gave them pretty much exactly, nobody that watches Secret Lives and has followed Taylor's life on TikTok and then the show is surprised at this, because I was getting this on September 10th when she was named the Bachelorette. They said either, Steve, she's not going to get engaged to anybody and she's going to run right back to Dakota, or Steve, she's going to get engaged to somebody and they'll break, and eventually we'll break it off because she can't get over Dakota. Exactly
and I said when she got cast, I said, this is an insane choice. She's really an emotional roller coaster. She does not in any way signify a stable, I know what I want in life. I love myself. Now I'm ready to find love. It's totally opposite what you're usually finding on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, opening package.
Yeah.
They're going to be so I used to be a swinger on TikTok and now it's crazy. And I'm curious how this is going to continue in terms of the next season. Are they going to do another stunt casting after this season, or are we just going to stay in I'd be curious to see what happens for the next Bachelorette or Bachelor, I should say.
That's the thing. Bachelor hasn't said anything about this. They haven't given any sort of statement from the network. They haven't said what's coming up in the rest of 2026. Is Bachelor in Paradise happening? Are they going to do a Bachelor season? Because this is also the first time in 15 years that the Bachelor season wasn't first in a calendar year. It's always been Bachelor and then Bachelorette. And the Bachelor always started in January, which now they got pushed.
So they just skipped the Bachelor this season?
As of right now, yeah. Because there was no Bachelor season in 2026. Right now, they have not filmed a Bachelor in Paradise for 2026, but Bachelor in Paradise usually films in May. At least last year's did. As far as I know, people aren't leaving in 6 weeks to go film Bachelor in Paradise. So
no, and I'm texting my husband who works on that show.
Basically,
I'm going to ask.
Yeah,
have you heard anything?
Yeah,
have
exactly.
You heard anything about BIP?
At this point, we don't know. As Bachelor Nation fans, we just don't know what's upcoming the rest of 2026. And I think this whole fiasco is probably going to throw a wrench into things. Maybe they need to take the rest of the year off and start fresh in 2027. But I don't know if they're going to go the celebrity route or be like, you know what? We tried. It failed. We're going back to somebody who from the franchise. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, my husband has not heard anything about Bachelor in Paradise, meaning they're not even checking avails for crew.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, I found it hard to believe that they would film Bachelor in Paradise in May again like they did last year. So my guess is if they are going to do another show in 2026, it'll be Bachelor, and either it'll be one of Taylor Frankie Paul's men, or it will be somebody from the outside.
Watch it's Dakota.
Yeah. God. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Well, I will say, I'll be watching. It's actually now kind of excited me to watch The Bachelor just to see Bachelorette, to see what a hot mess she'll be, because she will.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it just in the trailer that they showed, like she's taking all the roses away one night. And it's like, okay, that's just editing, because we know that she doesn't leave the show in the middle of the show, because we know we've seen other clips of her going, because this year they go from LA to Colorado to Vegas to Miami, then hometown dates, then overnights are in Salt Lake City, and then the final rose ceremony is in St. Lucia. So yeah, she gets her travel. It's going to be a standard season. It'll have drama. And, Taylor's her own woman. She has no filter. She does what she wants. And it's just like, okay.
Who's her, what day? So what day does it premiere? On the 22nd?
Yeah, Sunday nights. That's the other thing. It moved to Sunday nights. Bachelor for
it used to be
15
Monday.
years. It's been a Monday night show. They're moving it to Sunday nights this year and starting it in March. Now, that was a TV decision. They just decided to do Idol on Monday nights from obviously January through March, but or however long Idol is going till, probably goes through April. But yeah, I really think that it's going to be interesting, because being the guy that has been the forefront of spoilers and covering the show for a better part of 20 years now, yes, I've heard plenty of, she's trash, I'm not watching this. It's like, okay, that's fine, but millions of people will, especially all the people from the Secret Lives franchise and people that follow. Yeah, they'll all follow this. And, will they stick around for all 12 episodes? I don't know, but they're going to give it a chance. That premiere, it's going to be really interesting to compare her premiere numbers to past premiere numbers. If it doesn't double, if not triple, what the other women have done, who came in with, by the time the other Bachelorettes started, they maybe had 300,000 followers on Instagram. This is 2.2 million. Like I said, you get 1/10 of her followers that come in and watch this. It's going to put up big numbers for them. And
it's going to get numbers, and that's the thing that we'll watch, and we'll see if it tapers or it continues, and hopefully nothing else bad comes out about her, because then ABC's really in a predicament. Like, are they going to put someone on the show? Are they going to continue it? But they will continue it at this point. We're so in it.
So my thing is, what if, let's just say this DV investigation that's going on, what if it leads to her arrest?
Oh my God.
What if it leads to her losing custody of Ever? Like, that is going to be, I mean, granted, it's going to, again, put more eyeballs on, maybe not the middle of the season when she's got 12 guys left or whatever, but everyone's going to be wanting to tune in on that finale night, because they're not going to let her speak to press publicly until finale night. Like, she'll be able to put out TikToks and promote the Bachelorette season, but she's not going to be able to do any sort of sit-down interview, I don't think, to address anything that's going on until finale night. And that's where the numbers are going to be through the roof, because
they're going to see Taylor finally breaks her silence about the big. Exactly. It'll be interesting to watch. Okay, Reality Steve, thank you so much for jumping on. I know that you have a tight schedule, so you're live every day pretty much, or you go on your show how often a week? Yeah,
I do a daily podcast. The Reality Steve podcast comes out 7:30 a.m. Eastern time in your podcast feed, and then I have a weekly Thursday YouTube interview, which you've been on before. We'll have you on again during Taylor season, and that comes out every Thursday. And then I've been doing just more, I covered Traders. I covered Love is Blind. Those have been shows that I've added. I'm going to be going live Sunday night after the show airs in the East Coast and Central time zones on my YouTube channel, so people can check that out as well.
All right, you guys, make sure you're subscribed to Reality Steve. I have his link in the show notes, because he is like the go-to for all things Bachelor, always has been. And aren't you talking on that Love Trapped podcast? Or I feel like I've heard your name for sure.
Yeah, I've had clips in, I think, every episode you've heard my voice at least once.
I'm really into it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good for people that, because it's been going on for 2.5 years. I think people heard about this back when it started in August of 2020.
Love Trapped, by the way, for you guys that don't know, it's the story of the Clayton Echard and the paternity issue with Laura Owens. I'll get more into it later, but keep going.
Former Bachelor Clayton Echard. it made headlines in August of 2023 when this woman came forward and just said, I'm pregnant by the former bachelor and I'm pregnant with twins. And everyone's like, then it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And then everyone was just kind of probably not following it because it got so much. There were so many branches. We kept finding out more and more stuff. Dave Neal has been the point man on this. He's been great. And it's just one of these things where if you heard about this back in 2023 and then fell off, this Love Trapped podcast is the perfect catch up for you because it basically covers everything that Dave and myself have been going over for the last 2.5 years, but it is wild. I mean, we're hoping, and I think it is doing very well in the podcast rankings. We're hoping that it does get made into a documentary because it'd be great to see this. I just think this has Netflix documentary written all over.
Oh yeah. It's under true crime, which is like my style. It's very betrayal, that the podcast betrayal. Like it's all about lies and cheating and like scandal, and it's so effed, but I'm really enjoying the story. And I actually been chatting with the host of the show. She's going to come on my show.
Great. Yeah. Stephanie's great. My clips are from when I did a 90-minute interview with her on Zoom, and those are my clips that have been playing. And, you're through 4 episodes right now. I'm just telling you, for people that don't know much about the story, you've gotten a lot of juice in these first 4 episodes. Just think, as crazy as you think it is now, trust me, it only gets crazier. This Laura Owens girl is so off her rocker. And I mean, you've already seen, dating contracts, and if you date me, then I'll take the abortion pill. And it's just like
psycho behavior.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate you being here. You guys tune into Reality Steve here on YouTube or on the podcast apps. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
I can't believe I was on mute this whole time. Everyone is yelling at me. Muted! You're muted! Damn. I said so many good things too. Oh my God, you guys. Your comments are amazing. Okay. What did I say again? It was so Donna. Was I really into it? That's when I got to talk all that shit about you guys. Okay. So I was just saying that Reality Steve is saying what a lot of us are thinking, which is basically ABC made a choice, a very calculated choice here, where they chose to hire someone that has a sordid past. Learn from Love is Blind. Learn from these shows where when people have bad pasts, it comes back to bite them. Yes, Taylor could be a changed person, but they're shooting these seasons of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives so on top of each other that the last season that they saw, season 3, right before they hired her for The Bachelorette, or season 2, she was still off her rocker. Here's a video, and this is not her first time being in trouble. She definitely has had some major problems before. She is not baggage free in any way. This was when she was arrested in 2023. This article, this YouTuber is called EWU Body Cam, and they call it TikTok star thinks she can cry out of her way out of arrest. Let's watch just a little bit of it if you guys remember this. This is in 2023. And of course, it involved Dakota.
Arrest for DV, for domestic violence.
There's like domestic violence. Like somebody is screaming, like, get off me. There is like a woman screaming. It sounds like she's trying to get out. Oh my God,
what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me today?
God. Hey, what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Nothing.
She is hammered.
So is he.
I'm sober.
This was the scene discovered by police officers in Harriman, Utah on February 17, 2023, when they were summoned to the home of the uncharacteristically disheveled Mormon TikTok personality, Taylor Frankie Paul. Responding to a call concerning alleged domestic violence, they likely had preconceived notions about what they would encounter upon arrival. However, it's likely that any assumptions were quickly thrown out the window as the bizarre scene played out before them.
Contact the front door.
Some of the recorded video footage of the incident has been redacted for.
So obviously, this whole video goes into the deal, but come on. I'm sorry. I've argued with Lance before. We've never had the cops call on us. We've never had issues of like people nervous about our safety. Like, this is not a healthy person for her to be around. And it didn't end there because the next season they were still hooking up. She's not healthy, you guys. And I feel bad for her. Lee, you keep saying your comments are being deleted, but like I see your comments. So it feels like you're just talking. Like I see all your comments. You're here, Lee, you're here. So the fact that that video that I just showed you was from 2023 and then the Bachelor franchise was like, let's give her another shot. It's just so odd to me. I think they're going to get what they've been basically given here. And now it looks like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives production is being paused. And this will be a problem, you guys. This will be, I think, a bigger problem. I don't think it's going to be over. We'll have to see. I think that, ABC hired someone that is drama. And that's what they've decided. And is that indicative of where we are in 2026? I don't know. I just know that it's not really a good example. And like, would you want, and I'm going to be 100% honest, and I feel bad because I posted about this on Instagram and someone wrote a comment to me and they were like, don't you care about Taylor? And like, stand up for Taylor. Stand up for her. Allegedly, she was choking Dakota. And I don't think Dakota's a good guy, by the way. I think Dakota's a piece of crap as well. But apparently, she was choking him with his necklace in front of her child. Why are we giving people passes? They could be a woman, they could be a man, they could be an alien, they could be Wrigley, my dog. If you are injuring someone else in front of your kid and it's not in self-defense, that would be the only reason, is if it was in self-defense, which we have not heard. All right, we'll have to see what happens. It's not looking good though. And like, can you imagine you're a mother of a 30-year-old man who says, I'm going to be on this season's Bachelorette because I want to be with that Taylor Frankie Paul. No sane mom would be like, that seems like a great move for you. It's so crazy. Okay, let's move forward. Another mom talker is announcing, Layla. A lot of you guys remember Layla. She's also on the show. And now she's announcing that she's entering treatment for an eating disorder. Layla, for those of you guys that know the show, she's kind of like, I would say she's like an outskirt star. She's not one of the main. She's had boyfriends, but for the most part, she's a single mom. I've always found her to be kind of, I'm just going to be honest, boring as a reality star. But this is actually really sad. Here is her Instagram post where she posts her honest feelings about this. This is a video of her in a bathing suit, and she says, "For the past 2 years, I've been struggling silently with an eating disorder I believed I had left behind in high school. Far before I touched GLPs." The fact that she's on GLPs is actually quite concerning, right? "Far before I touched GLPs, I've had my struggles. It's been lonely and exhausting fighting a battle in my own brain while trying to show up like everything is okay and receive comments daily on my body. Recovery has been messy and far from linear. Some days feel strong, other days feel heavy. I am in treatment and no longer on the medication. I'm still learning how to choose self-love over self-criticism. Even this video, seeing my body side by side, is triggering. But I'm still fighting, not just for me, but because my boys deserve a healthy, present mom. So grateful for those in my life that helped me through that low time. Thank you for the kindness, grace, and support. It means more than you know." So she has entered treatment for an eating disorder. And I am glad she's doing that. She's 5'9" and she was 99 pounds. I mean, to see that in real life is incredibly jarring. It's got to be very incredibly thin. And she revealed that during a scene from the latest season that premiered last week. She said she weighs 99 pounds and can't stop taking GLP-1s. She said she got on it to lose stubborn weight, but I don't even ever remember seeing her with that stubborn weight. But it's just I feel for these women who are growing up on social media and growing up with so many eyes on them, especially in a place like Utah. And no offense to the Utah culture, but it just feels like everyone is so, just can be honest, at least these girls, like, so fake. They're all getting plastic surgery. They're all getting hair extensions. They're all getting fake this, that. And I don't know if you guys remember seeing Jessie, who is one of the stars of the show. She got a lot of plastic surgery between seasons, and she looks completely different than she used to. And this is what she had to say a couple days ago about plastic surgery. And this message is actually it's actually devastating.
I've not talked about my surgeries in a while because I don't want that to be the only thing that I get comments about. And it was really hard because I did get a lot of hate. But I just wanted to say a few things because I've had to do press for season 4 the last few days, and I'm getting so much criticism about my looks. And I want to say rightfully so, honestly. I want to tell everyone that I am extremely unhappy with my results. And
she says, "I'm getting a lot of criticism, and honestly, rightfully so." This is what she says out loud. "I am unhappy with my results." This is a beautiful woman.
And I didn't quite understand what I was getting into, to be honest. I went in for a lower bleph, and then I asked about an upper bleph, ended up getting that. Did not want fat grafting, to be honest. I just kind of listened to a suggestion, not really understanding what it was, what it would do, what the results were going to be, what the recovery was going to be. And I really wish I would have asked more questions. I wish I wouldn't have done it. I wish I would have said no. And it's my fault that I was like, okay, yeah, whatever you think. But at the end of the day, I wished that there had been more information. And it was also put in my lips, which I didn't ask for, didn't want. And it's made my lips really lumpy. I have one that dips. I'm getting a lot of comment about my lip filler. And I agree. It looks awful. My face looks terrible. I totally agree. I'm actually a lot more swollen.
Can you imagine? "My face looks terrible. I totally agree," she says. Obviously, the comments are very loving on her and very supportive of her. But this is who our young girls are watching. Okay? Now, I am a mom of boys, so luckily I don't have to worry about this kind of pressure. It is very, very scary to see. And I hate to say it, but it's bad. It's bad. I don't know. Or maybe it's going to recount everyone, and basically everyone's going to say, "Oh my gosh, how silly do they look that they're taking GLP-1s at 99 pounds? Like, I would never do that." Or, "How bad do they look that they hate their face? We should be more loving to each other." Like, I don't know. It's very, very tough. Yeah, boys go through it too. Oh, boys are going through their own insecurities. Like, there's no question, but There's not shows like this on TV about just like guys talking about how they look all day. Okay. So Mormon Wives are struggling. They're on the struggle bus right now. And I think that almost every single person on those shows are toxic and falling apart. Maybe Whitney Levitt is the only one that feels like she's in a good place. She's obviously, her career is thriving. She's got a great husband. From what we know, Connor seems like a really good guy. She seems to have a very healthy relationship, but like every single person on that cast is messed up. They're very, very, very toxic. And I don't know if it's the best feeling. It's almost giving me like Teen Mom vibes when you watch it, you know? You know how when you watch Teen Mom and you see a scene between Janelle and David, you feel dirty after? That's how I feel. Okay, let's get into another story. So we talked about Mom Talk. We talked about Coldplay Kiss Cam. Let's talk about Meghan Markle. You guys, only Meghan Markle. Remember how I told you the other day how Meghan Markle is doing this girls' weekend, right? She's doing a girls' weekend in Australia for a measly $5 million. Just kidding, but not really. And I find this just so fascinating. So she signed up, and this is an article written, of course, by Daily Mail, but this is all like for the Brits because everything's in pounds and not dollars. But the PR woman that is organizing Meghan Markle's Comic-Con style appearance at the Australian Ultimate Girls Weekend has now run into major financial difficulties after her agency went bust with a $500,000 tax bill, reported today. Her name is Gemma O'Neill, and she's been busily promoting this 3-day event in Sydney where women pay all this money for a VIP experience, including a picture with the Duchess of Sussex over dinner. And Meghan is the headline guest at this Her Best Life retreat. Remember, I showed you guys it. It's organized by the events company Besties, which is founded by the radio host Jackie O. Henderson and then this woman, Gemma O'Neill. So fans can buy the VIP experience for $3,200, which includes the group table photo and a gift bag, whatever. But today in Australia, it was reported that the talent agency that's owned by Gemma, who's one of the hosts of the event, is collapsing because they owe so many Australian dollars to taxes. She can't pay her debts due to a lack of savings and her limited income, she says. Administrators were said to have been appointed after her talent management business, Gemmy Agency, went into voluntary liquidation in November. They owe $543,548 Australian dollars and another amount to an accountant. And meanwhile, Meghan is tied in with this woman. Can you believe it? Meghan is tied in with the one woman whose business is going under. It's so typical. Like, what does Meghan not touch that doesn't, like, what can Meghan touch that doesn't turn to shit? It's so funny to me. This woman, and I don't know if it's Meghan or it's just her energy or something, she's like attracted to failure. Everything she does, she options books for them to make movies out of it. Like everything. It's just such a crazy turn of events. Now, I don't really know what Gemma O'Neill's going to do, but she's clearly trying to say that she doesn't have the amount of money. She's saying, I can't make back the money. And it's supposed to be today. She's supposed to respond to the creditors. And on February 20th, she said she couldn't make any repayment contributions. And then the other host of the event, her name Jackie O. If you're in Australia, you know who these people are, was involved in a public spat with her Kiss FM radio partner, Kyle Sandilands, in an argument about her being away with the fairies, which later saw the duo taken off the airwaves permanently and their $100 million contracts torn up. So it was a show called The Kyle and Jackie O Show, and it was officially axed 11 days later in a dramatic announcement, and this was on Kiss FM. So now One of the hosts of the event is fired and is in a wrongful termination suit. And then the other host is $500,000 in debt. And they're still hosting Meghan for this girl's life retreat. OMG. You couldn't write this shit. You couldn't write it. It's so interesting. Meghan is just constantly getting herself in trouble. And the final story I'll leave with you guys today is a Carole Radziwill update on why she was not portrayed in Love Story. If you guys remember, I've been covering this. I've speculated on different reasons why we're not getting any Carole at all, even though she was apparently one of the very, very close friends to Carolyn Bessette. And it says, according to Entertainment Weekly, why Carole is not in it. We finally have an answer, even though she was so close to them. And the actor who plays her husband, Anthony Radziwill, is all over the show. And this is what Love Story producer Brad Simpson told TV Insider. He said, people's lives are full and rich. There's tons of people in them, and you have to make decisions. And a decision we made was to really focus on creating Lauren, which is Carolyn Bessette's sister, as a character, because she was often an afterthought in all of this. And so we thought it was important that when Carolyn needed a confidant, it was her sister, because they were very close. There were tons of people in their lives that we weren't able to include. We're trying to pack a lot into 43 minutes. So their excuse for why they didn't add Carole Radziwill in it is because they just didn't want to give her too many friends that she would be confidants with. They just wanted it to be her sister, which makes sense. But it doesn't answer for the fact that we don't even see Anthony and a wife. Like, she doesn't need to talk. She doesn't need to be part of the scenes, but she's not even in the scene at all. She's not even anywhere, right? So that is what she's saying. Now, of course, she has also said in her own Substack that she doesn't agree with the way it is, and she doesn't like the misrepresentations and false narratives. And of course, Daryl Hannah is really unhappy with it. So anyone that really lived the story is unhappy. And you just have to remember that it's fiction. It's not, I mean, it's a fictional retelling of a true story. I forgot. I do want to leave you with one last story, and this is about Hoda Kotb. You guys, you know how we're all saying that Hoda Kotb is trying to steal out Savannah Guthrie's chair, and we talked all about this yesterday? Well, Hoda Kotb has quietly hosted a $2,600 ticket wellness retreat. Yep, not just talking about Meghan Markle. Hoda Kotb has also just quietly hosted a $2,600 per ticket wellness retreat. And here's the kicker. It was in Arizona, hours away from Nancy Guthrie's house. Sorry, what? Hoda quietly just hosted this retreat just hours from where Nancy Guthrie was abducted. And she didn't talk about it. She didn't post a lot about it, but she did it with her lifestyle brand, Joy 101, 100 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home at the JW Marriott Scottsdale Camelback Inn Resort and Spa. Been there, love it there. In Scottsdale, ticket holders got to hang with her and take part in life-changing holistic practices. She put on a brave face, Hoda, and connected with the guests who had shelled out thousands of dollars. According to ticket holders, she walked around without security and made sure to make every single guest feel special. Speaking exclusively to Daily Mail, event goer Lisa Litton, who attended the retreat with her two close friends, said that Kotb delighted in meeting with all her fans and roamed around without being flanked by guards. She had no security. Everyone just walked right up to her. We were at the pool. She took selfies with everyone. She also joined her guests and immersed herself in scheduled activities. Here is a picture of her at this retreat in Nancy's home area, living her best life. I think this whole idea that everyone is just so devastated for Savannah is not necessarily true. I think that's a stretch. It was first marketed at the end of December, and they quickly sold out. And ticket holders reasoned that this was a deliberate move, even though there was no mention of Nancy Guthrie during the entire weekend. But she wanted everyone to disconnect. It showed me that even though they're all going through a really hard time, they can still be there for others. Do you think that Hoda is going through a really hard time right now? Just curious. Does this look like a really hard time? I think Hoda's living her best life. She's back on the Today Show and she's hosting a $2,600 per person ticket event with Maria Shriver as a guest. I think she's doing okay. Well, there you go. There you go. I'm sure Savannah feels good about that. All right, you guys, I adore you. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry about all the technical difficulties and the muting. I'm sure I'm going to get comments about that all day for the rest of the day. I adore you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and liking and watching and listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leaving a 5-star review. Please help me get my reviews up on Apple. That's what I'm going to ask of all of you guys. If you want to do a little mitzvah, go over to Apple Podcasts and just lift that shit up. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.